thank you very much for being here. I see the mayor is up front by himself. Councilor Miller, Councilor Williams is here. Thank you very much for taking the time to be here, and to all the families that are here and partners of those that are going to be receiving awards today. Thank you. This is a big day for our police officers. You know, the national narrative the last number of years has really been negative on police and highlighting a lot of the bad things that have happened throughout the country. And now more than ever in recent years, especially with social media and whatnot, that a lot of the national issues hit people close to home. And so, you know, Wichita has not been immune from the protests or the people that are concerned about police use of force and things along those lines. But I'll tell you, as the new guy on the department and having been here since January, I am very, very impressed with the men and women of this police department. And, you know, coming from Minnesota and being involved with some national groups and state groups, having been chief up there for 10 years, I think I'm qualified to say that this department is incredible because of the men and women that work here. So the people that are going to be receiving the awards today are the best of the best. And, you know, there's some benchmarks across the country that we look at on how police departments are doing and how they rate with the rest of the country. One of them is a simple one, is homicides. What's the clearance rate for homicides? Now, I don't never want to jinx it, you know, because cops, the way they are with being the cynics, are like, that's it. He screwed us because he's bringing it up. But the reality is, you know, last year there was 31 homicides and 30 were solved. And the national average is often around 30%. So that speaks volumes to the type of police work that's done here every day. And of course, out in the community, there is tremendous support in this community for these men and women, because I see it and hear it when I go to community meetings and at different events. And one of the tough things about being a police officer is that, you know, you only deal with people in crisis. And it's almost an occupational hazard where you begin to believe, you know, going into crisis after crisis, we see people at the worst moments in their life. We don't get invited to parties, you know, to sit down and have a drink. We get invited to, you know, to break up a fight or when there's something bad that's happened. So, you know, sometimes police officers forget how much support there is for them. And sometimes they begin to wonder, you know, and I've been there, and I'm sure many officers in this room can relate, but when I was on my working nights for 4 or 5 years, I was like, geez, are we the only normal people out there, right? So it's good for cops to see the support that they have, and it's great for families to come here and support them. The awards you're going to hear about tonight or this afternoon are, you know, great stories of going the extra mile to make sure that our police department does everything we can to help victims and help citizens and help each other and how we provide service. So we're going to, as we read through those, the deputy chiefs are going to read those, that I think you're going to see a theme. And the one thing I don't want you to forget, and then I get to see this being in my seat, is that there are officers doing good things every minute of every day on this department, helping people that, you know, stories that will never be told, that will never be heard about. But the men and women of this department are compassionate and care about this community, and I am very proud to be the chief of this department. So about the award winners for the families that are here, I don't want them to come home tonight and think that they can. I don't want you to be too nice to them, right? We want them to keep their humility and stuff. So if they get out of hand, I'll give you my cell phone. You can call me, and I'll call them up and yell at them or something. But I am excited for those that are going to receive these awards today, and this is a big deal for this department. This goes in the records books, those that are receiving this award. This is not just something that's given out lightly. It was reviewed by a committee of their peers and of supervisors on this department. So those that received this award, they were competed against other people, and they were what we consider the best of the best. With that, we're going to start with Deputy Chief Seiler and Officer of the Year.
Actually, I'm not going to be doing the Officer of the Year. I'm going to do the Cooper McKee. But before I do...
You almost made it without making a mistake.
Sorry, Chief. Sorry. Before... I just want to make a couple of comments before we get started, and that is that this award is for not what our officers have done for the citizens of this city, but what a citizen in this city did for our police department. So, and that's what this award's about. So I want to ask Dr. Solomon, would you please come up here? And I want to tell you while he's walking up here, some of the best attributes about Dr. Solomon is that he's a graduate of Kansas State University. We all know that's the best in the state. Thank you all very much. Purple power. Dr. Sullivan, he's a graduate of Kansas State University from Doctor of Veterinary Medicine up there. I got the chance to talk to him before the ceremony here began, and I spent many hours myself in that hospital over there and on that side of campus. So I know very much a lot about that side of the campus and what goes on over there. So very appreciative of it. So I got something to read here on the Cooper McKee Volunteer of the Year Award. And that's Officer Daniel Widener. He nominated Dr. Solomon for the Wichita Police Department's Cooper McKee Volunteer of the Year Award. In 2004, Dr. Solomon has, since 2004, he has offered his time and services and resources to the Wichita Police Department, saving the citizens of Wichita thousands of tax dollars. Dr. Solomon and his staff at Solomon Veterinary Clinic have been treating Wichita Police Department service dogs free of charge for over a decade. That's a lot of time. Thank you so much. Detective Eddie Padron, you're back there. You were a recipient of a lot of this, and your dog. He was given approval, that is Detective Padron, and to begin researching canines for field services, with the caveat, obviously, that he could not cost the department or the city any money. Tough endeavor to take on. So Detective Brian Martin already had a canine, and he was assigned to the Special Investigations Bureau. And Padron got with him. He recognized the dire necessity of having a canine available to patrol officers. Detective Padron contacted Dr. Solomon and inquired about providing veterinary services to the police service dogs. Dr. Solomon, without hesitation, willingly offered his full services free of charge. Throughout the years, Dr. Solomon has been treating our dogs. And not only is he treating one, but they're treating multiple dogs because as you all know, we've added canines throughout the years to where we are today. And Dr. Solomon has solicited other veterinarians in the city of Wichita to do some of the same services that he's providing to us. So we greatly appreciate that. Here recently, we had a dog which was Elsa, was treated with. I'm sorry. Doctor. Well, I've read through this, so I know about the whole story. But the dog suffered a traumatic injury, and he brought it. They brought the dog to Dr. Solomon, and he took the dog to Kansas State University, to the veterinary hospital up there, to seek treatment that was needed there. That expense was all incurred by Dr. Solomon. He paid for all of that and gave the dog back. That dog is in service today. So I want to tell you thank you for all of that. That's a huge expense to the city of Wichita and the Wichita Police Department. You've had the chance to work with all of our dog handlers and stuff over the past several years. With that, I want to present you with for doing all that, I want to present you with a plaque here. So, Brian, can you bring that up here? This is an appreciation from the Wichita Police Department to your service to us and to our dogs, dog handlers, and everything that you've done for us, okay? This just basically says in 2016, Wichita Police Department, Cooper McKee Volunteer of the Year Award goes to Dr. Solomon, DVM. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, it is my privilege to recognize the non-sworn employee of the year. In this case, it'll be employees of the year because Erika Cepeda, if you could come up front, Krayton Easley, and Nienstedt. They will be our nominees or recipients of non-sworn employee of the year. Stand right here. Now, there's three ladies this summer took it upon themselves to prepare lunch for 150 people from July 16th through July 23rd for Operation Save America protest. They hand-prepared sandwiches most mornings to deliver to the command post. And I can tell you that thing that was not written here, but that they did it under, it was about 120 degrees in that building. So they did this day in, day out. It really reflects well on the commitment and dedication of our non-sworn employees. So we'd like to recognize you by offering you a plaque here. Thank you. Again, thank you, ladies, for your dedication. Appreciate it.
So I work on the fourth floor with all three of those ladies, and I'm looking forward to next year's award ceremony because they're going to be hard to live with for the next year, I think. So, no, actually, they do a very good job. I was promoted in April. And if it wasn't for those three, I'd probably be lost, especially with getting things organized in my calendar and everything. So in addition to that, they did a lot of projects this year, too. We got a new chief. He came in with a lot of new projects and made them, just a couple, right, made them a lot busier than I think they were anticipating. I have the Officer of the Year award. Officer Renay Bryand, can you come up, please? Where'd he go? Oh, there he is, right up front. I had the privilege last month of awarding him the Crime Commission Officer of the Year award. Was it last month, right? And so he was the recipient of that as well. And this is several pages, a lot of information that his supervisors wrote here. And I'm going to try to give you a few highlights. So Officer Bryand is a 21-year veteran of the Wichita Police Department, and he is assigned as the beat officer on 48 Beat. He responds to a lot of 911 generated calls. In fact, past year, he's responded to approximately 1,600 calls, and almost 300 of those are self-initiated. Other things that his supervisors pointed out, that he is always involved in his community, doing civic work. And in 21 years, you've only used a day and a half of sick time. Is that right? Average. Okay, that's what his supervisors tell me. So. But it really speaks to his dedication and caliber. In fact, in August of last year, during this award year, he received the Bronze Wreath of Merit for his work on an armed robbery case at the M&V check cashing location at 2247 North Arkansas. And just to highlight a few other things that he has worked on this year, they list case after case after case that he went above and beyond and did some follow-up on, but I want to mention a few things, his work on some special projects. Officer Bryant participated in it's called a NOTE project, that's neighborhood-oriented traffic enforcement project, and he focused on traffic in the area of 18th and Porter. Some of his civic activities include he volunteered and gave a presentation to youth at Mays High School about illegal drugs. He volunteered to be a mentor for recruit officers in our academy, which is an important role for a senior officer to mentor a young recruit. Officer Bryant participated in the Battle of the Badges by donating blood. So not only do we get our time from him and we pay him, but he has to pay us back in blood. Officer Bryant assisted a family in need, providing them with a Christmas meal donated by local organizations. He assisted 4 St. Thomas Middle School students by meeting with them on his own time and allowing them to interview him for a school project about law enforcement. He volunteered to participate in the Special Olympics by handing out medals to participants. He has assisted with neighborhood cleanup projects, and as I mentioned earlier, he's only used a day and a half in 21 years, which is quite impressive. his supervisors kind of wrap it up this way. They said Officer Bryand, and I believe this wholeheartedly because I've seen it, he believes in forming relationships with citizens on his beat, keeping the lines of communication open with the citizens on his beat. In review of criminal apprehension, special projects, and civic activities, Officer Bryand has proven that the citizens has been very important to his success, and these community partnerships have assisted Officer Bryand in crime suppression and apprehension and addressing quality of life issues on his beat. And then on a personal note, I mentioned this at the Crime Commission meeting. You know, as a junior officer coming out, we all know as officers you come out and you're trying to get accepted, and you don't know anybody, and you're trying to get to know people. And this was one of the guys who would come car to car and actually talk to me, which I always appreciated, and give me advice. And then he promptly left to another bureau, left me all by myself. So, but anyway, if someone has this plaque, thanks. So I'd like to award Officer Bryand the 2016 Wichita Police Department Officer of the Year. Thank you. You want to say anything? Huh? Go ahead.
Well, I'd like to thank the command staff. I'd also like to thank my family who's present here in the front, in the first two rows here. I'd like to introduce my wife, Maureen, my daughter, Morgan, my mother-in-law, Angie, and my son can't be here today, but believe me, he's here in spirit because he's my hero, what goes on here. As I look around the room, there's a lot of people here that have had an impact on my law enforcement career. Captain White, he was my FTO back in the academy, and I'm sure he's the catalyst for me being up here today. From what I understand is that my eval went through and got to him, and he suggested I should be put in for this award, so thank you, Captain White. There's also many other people in this room that I've worked with, worked for, that in some sort have played an impact on me, whether it be making calls and seeing how they handle particular calls, and I usually try to take the good from each of these people. There's Detective Padron. I mean, he's out there, he's plain clothes, but outstanding officer. I mean, there's many others out there as well that I can't name, but like I said, you guys have had an impact on me. So thank you all, and thank the command staff again. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, that concludes our ceremony. Please stick around and share in some refreshments and join me in congratulating all of our well-deserved winners today. Thanks for being here.